Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the City of Long Beach budget presentation. My name is Arturo Sanchez, and I am the Deputy City Manager for the City of Long Beach. Thank you for coming. You will be hearing today, this morning, from the Mayor of the City of Long Beach, our City Manager, and we have staff available to answer any questions after the budget presentation. So with that, I'd like to start by welcoming the Mayor up to make a few remarks.
Well, thank you all for being here. I want to just begin by thanking all of our staff, our dedicated department heads, the city manager, and really all of our finance team for working so hard over the last 6 months developing the budget that you're all about to see in front of us. The budget that will be presented today is balanced, it's fiscally responsible, and it's innovative. It's $2.7 billion worth of capital improvements, public safety investments, and programs for our youth and our seniors in our parks. It's a budget that we should all be very proud of, and certainly one that we've been working on as a team for many months. What I want to say about the budget is that the budget was not created in a staff vacuum, but it really is a product of lots of input, of community dialogue that we've heard throughout the year on a variety of issues, discussions at the City Council, and of course initiatives that I've laid out in this last year as mayor. What you'll hear from City Manager West when he presents and gets into some of the details of the budget is a reflection of the priorities that have been set by the City Council over the course of the last few years. This budget is really a budget that speaks to the goals and the initiatives of the city. What's important about this budget is that this budget is lean and lives within our means. We all know that the last few years have been tough when it comes to ensuring that we have a responsible budget. And in spite of that rough patch that we hit as a city financially and as a country, we all know that we begin to recover out of that. We all know that oil revenue is still down, and this budget anticipates that. And this year's budget really focuses on a path to fiscal prudence. As we move forward, we must absolutely remain cautious, continue our conservative budgeting, and most importantly, make the investments that we can in a way that's modest and that can really support the programs that are important to the city. So I want to go over thematically a few areas that I want to highlight. Some of these areas are highlighted in my mayor's budget message that you probably all have. Many of them are already included in the budget as presented, and some are additions that I've highlighted in my budget message. So I'm going to just spend a few minutes on a couple of those. I want to just begin by talking about what I think is the theme of this year's budget, and that is creating a more livable city. As we see a small surplus, you all know we have about a $600,000 surplus this year. It's actually about $630,000 in the budget. You're going to see some small investments in areas that I think will make everyone's life better in the city of Long Beach, particularly residents. So I wanted to share some of those with all of you. One of the things that we are extremely committed to is making sure that we have neighborhoods that are strong, an education system that's strong, and that we're investing in the future. You'll see in this budget funding to return a coordinator for our preschool and early childhood ed community. This is a position that we had years ago and had been gone. We're now bringing back someone to actually manage and work with our education and preschool community to expand universal preschool in Long Beach, which has been a goal of mine since coming into office, and I know the council is committed to that as well. You will also see an expansion of library hours to Sunday, which were eliminated years ago. This will now start a pilot program to go and have three different libraries will have Sunday hours in this year's budget. And that really actually comes from a pilot project that was started by Councilwoman Susie Price at Bayshore Library, which was very successful. So we're expanding that to 3 libraries citywide. Our goal, of course, one day is to be able to return to Sunday library hours citywide. You'll see that in the budget. You will also see something that's exciting, I think, for the city is we are restructuring and adding additional ways to look and beautify the city. So what you see in this budget is me call out somewhat of a bit of a change to the way we do and clean some of our streets. This budget creates 2 dedicated clean teams that will go around the city throughout the year in branded clean team trucks and picking up dumped items, cleaning trash, cleaning graffiti, cleaning weeds, dedicated to going around the city on top of the work that's already being done. Imagine essentially the kind of cleaning effort that might happen in some of our bids, like the DLBA or Bixby Knolls, and taking some of that energy and that strategy into other parts of the city that really need additional support to beautify neighborhoods. You're going to see money set aside for a signage program, which we've been talking about for the last year, to put welcome signage across the city. You're going to see additional investments in the arts. You probably all know that our Long Beach Art Museum, which had seen pretty significant cuts in the last few years, we are providing funding to return them to a level that is worthy of the world-class museum that it is. And you will also see in this budget some really great relief for parking-impacted neighborhoods. In fact, in this budget, we will be putting together what is really the largest parking and street sweeping reform the city has had in over 30 years. What this budget really does provide the funding to reduce parking in most neighborhoods from 4 hours down to 2, and to remove and eliminate a lot of the parking times that are really early in the morning, or in some cases, really discouraging for residents that have a hard time parking in their neighborhoods. So what this parking change will mean is for particularly areas like Alamitos Beach or parts of Long Beach that are really impacted throughout downtown and other areas, we're going to eliminate the opportunity for folks to have that 4 hour to 2, and we're also going to make changes so that if people are having to move their car at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, that's going to hopefully also change so that people have more time to get ready, get to work, and not have those parking challenges. So those are all areas where you're going to see change when it comes to livability for the city. And another thing that we're also looking at in this budget, which I'm pretty excited about, is to transition to a single phone number for Long Beach. This has been something that's been important to me for a while. If you want to call the city of Long Beach, you have to go down a long list of 15 to 20 numbers, and hopefully you remember which one or can find which number you need to call animal care or code enforcement or any other service that we want to provide at Parks and Rec. This budget provides funding to begin looking at consolidating our numbers into some type of 311 or one single number for the Long Beach system that will ease the ability for residents to communicate to the city, so they can call one number and be able to reach any service that they want. That's also been included in my budget message, and something that we're very proud of. In the area of economic development, we're looking at maximizing our new economic development department, which we created in last year's budget, by moving our workforce and Pacific Gateway network into that department to maximize our workforce and our economic development department. So that's a significant change as far as moving that function from human resources over to economic and property management. And those are just some of the highlights. You'll see other highlights that the city manager will talk about when it comes to public safety. And one that I want to mention there is, you'll notice that our police academies typically have been between 35 and 40 recruits. In this budget, I'm calling for us to increase that to 40+ recruits per class, just to ensure that we're meeting attrition and that we're filling every available police slot that we have available in the budget. And I'll also say that we want to focus on violence prevention. And so in this budget, you will also see an increase to the amount of money that the city invests in our Be Safe youth programs. This also commits the city to moving these funds from current discretionary funds that council members apply to permanent general fund dollars that will be programmatic within the city budget. This is important because these programs need to be a citywide priority, and this will allow Parks and Rec to have those additional funds, to also include more of our nonprofits and agencies to be involved in those park programs. You will also see in this budget some investments in innovation, and I'll also mention one. We have currently a great partnership with Long Beach City College at our small business center in downtown Long Beach. What we want to do as part of this budget is really transform that center into an innovation center with our great new innovation team that we have. And so there are some dollars in there to be able to do some upgrades and capital upgrades to that facility to really create a tech and innovation center that the city and our team would help develop, that would help throughout the entire city. So those are some of the investments that you will see in this budget. Let me just close by saying that this budget process has been incredibly collaborative. I'm very proud of the work that our city team has done and all the department heads that are here. I want to thank the council members that are here. I see Councilmember Rex Richardson. I see our city auditor, Laura Dowd. I'm not sure if I'm missing other elected officials that are here, but I do also see a lot of our chief of staffs and staff of a lot of our council offices. So I want to thank them all for attending and for making this really a solid budget that invests in making sure our city is a more livable place. So to go into the details, I'm going to turn this over to our city manager, Pat West.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a crazy but fun year. It's been a very exciting year. It's been a year of change. People say that the one constant is change. Well, this year there's been a constant, and that's change. We have a new mayor. It's been fantastic to work for. We have 6 new council members. They equally are fantastic to work for. It's been just fun working for the new elected officials, new council, new mayor. But on the other side, we've also have a lot of new department heads as well. On the staff side, there's been a lot of change as well. We have a new assistant city manager this year, a new deputy city manager, a new chief of police, a new director of emergency services, a new airport director, a new technology and innovation director, a new lifeguard chief, and we're soon to have a new city engineer, a new HR director, so Debbie Mills can retire, and a new Parks and Recreation and Marine director. So it's been pretty much a crazy year, but fun, a lot of change, and it's an exciting place to be right now in Long Beach. So we're going to go into the budget just right now. The mayor said it's a $2.7 billion budget, and it is in all funds. I'm going to focus primarily on the general fund, which is $412 million. This is a budget that has much to celebrate. With improved revenues, the fiscal year 16 budget has a small surplus instead of an earlier projected deficit. This is our 3rd year of surpluses. City services and the quality of services are maintained. We continue our emphasis on public safety continuum. Again, it's not all police and fire, it's all the departments that help keep this city safe and clean. We're going to continue to invest in parks, beaches, streets, and sidewalks. There will be a strong focus on economic development and business attraction, as the mayor pointed out. This budget reflects the city's improved and improving economy, and it prepares for the future. There's been a lot of fiscal discipline by the City Council during the past year. Over the past 10 years, we have cut $134 million of general fund dollars and almost 700 positions. The City Council has saved the temporary surpluses from 14 and 15, which have strengthened Long Beach's financial position for the future. Again, this is the 3rd year of a surplus, and we'll be recommending carrying that surplus over to help us in next year's fiscal budget. We've been able to make numerous efficiency improvements, including investments to reduce water and fuel consumption. We have invested in new smart parking meters throughout the city and more funds for critical infrastructure needs. There have been beach and convention area improvements, which have been very, very visible. We're building a new North Library and an East Police Station. We're planning for a new Civic Center. We have made many efficiency improvements, such as eliminating hundreds of vehicles from the city fleet, streamlining administrative functions, implementing more efficient ambulance services, and using technology to fight crime and improve our business processes. On the revenue side, growing our tax base is another example of strong financial management. We have many successes with new businesses such as Virgin Galactic, which will create up to 200 jobs, Mercedes-Benz with 300 jobs, and other investment at Douglas Park, including medical offices, commercial, industrial uses, a courtyard by Marriott, and retail. Collectively, there are over 3,000 jobs at Douglas Park. There have also been a lot of investment at the new Pike Outlet Center, including H&M, Nike, Forever 21, and a second level for Restoration Hardware, and more is coming. And many new restaurants in the areas ranging from Belmont Shore to Bixby Knolls and Los Altos to the downtown. Again, the revenues are better than originally projected. Back in March, we came to the community, the council, and said we're going to be expecting a $1 million deficit. Revenues have improved, so now the proposed budget will show a $600,000 surplus. We continue to preserve services in this budget. The major services and quality are preserved. We continue to have a strong focus on public safety, with 69% of our general fund dollars going to police and fire, and the rest of the departments utilizing the 31% of the general fund budget. I can't say enough about this council's focus on public safety. But public safety represents 69% of the general fund, and that's devoted to police, fire. We're going to continue police and fire academies, so you'll definitely see those happening in fiscal year 16. There's going to be additional police overtime to patrol, suppress, and investigate and prosecute violent crimes. There's also going to be one-time funding for contemporary police training. We're also going to add a civilian community emergency response coordinator for the CERT program. And there's going to be additional disaster preparedness planning for staff support. Again, we talk a lot about our public safety continuum. Police and fire can't do it all, and we don't expect them to do it all, but they certainly do the lion's share of the work. But when we have one of the best anti-graffiti programs in the United States, our city prosecutor continues to impress us every few months with a new great idea to work with PD to fight crime. We have some of the most fantastic programmings in the nation, with library service at Parks and Rec. We have a very, very strong code enforcement program. We're one of the few cities in the state of California with a health and human services program that focuses a lot on our homeless issues, so we're very lucky to have Kelly Colopy and her team to do that. We continue to do a lot of affordable housing in this community, even with the loss of redevelopment, and we continue to improve our infrastructure to make this a safe and clean city. There's going to be a continued focus on critical infrastructure. This year, we're going to spend nearly $10 million, all funds, for local streets and sidewalks. You're going to see about $5 million in residential street programs, $3 million in our sidewalk program. We're going to add $950,000 of one-time dollars for local streets and sidewalk repair, and another $1 million of one-time money for sidewalk study and plans to repair our sidewalks throughout our 52 square miles. In addition to that, there's $11.5 million for major and secondary streets outside of our residential neighborhoods. You're also going to see a continued investment on parks and recreation improvements, transportation enhancements, and public facilities. The mayor pointed out a huge focus on economic development, and that's one of the key things that he brought to us when he became mayor. We're going to take our Workforce Development Bureau under Nick Schultz and place it under Economic and Property Development Department with Mike Conway. We think that's going to be a much more smooth transition to assist the underemployed in Long Beach and the unemployed. Our Bloomberg Innovation Grant, brought to us by the mayor, they have an I-team that stimulates growth and jobs under John Keisler and also the mayor's leadership. This is already just showing great dividends, and we can't wait to see how this team blossoms in the next few months. There will continue to be strategic marketing of our successor agency properties. Mike Conway works very closely with the city council on that, so that when we sell property, we can meet our neighborhood goals and also ensure the reduction of sales tax leakage. We're going to continue to focus on the council's prior commitments during the past year. We're going to continue our language access plan and funding for that plan implementation. We're going to continue support for our new Veterans Commission, our new Technology Commission, continued support for the Economic Development Commission. We're also going to support a lot of technology initiatives. We have a new financial human resources system. We're in the middle of that. It's a 3 or 4 year effort. It's a $30 million effort that will transform our entire city technology department and how we operate in finance. And John Gross is leading that charge along with Brian Satokis. In addition to that, we have a new website. I hope everybody's enjoyed that or visited that. With the new website, we're going to have increased enhancement for website design and management. We're going into open data this year in a big way, so we'll be funding that. We're also going to be funding Open Counter to work with all of our businesses to make it easier to get a startup business or expand your business in the city of Long Beach. We continue to work with our surveillance cameras under the leadership of Chief Luna to put these in and help us fight crime. We're going to enhance Wi-Fi for all city facilities. We've been moving on that for the past couple of years, and it's something that we're not going to stop on. We have new software modernization that we continue to do. We're going to start electronic plan checks for our business community, which will be very, very exciting. We're working on that. You're also going to see things like LED lights, and we have a program called onboarding for our new employees so that they can do all the necessary things that they need to know about the city and the luxury at their home at a computer and not have to come to work and take up staff time to do that. We're also going to see a small business incentive pilot program, one-time dollars of $200,000 carry forward. That's something that the City Council adopted a few months ago, and we'll carry that forward for the next year. We're also going to expand our homeless services, including outreach, collection, and storage of homeless belongings. One of the big issues in dealing with our homeless community is storage of belongings, and that's something that we have to get a hold of. There will be also some one-time money to support homeless-related initiatives. We're going to create an ADA coordinator to facilitate our ADA projects and respond to ADA complaints. We continue to provide a lot of support for stormwater permit regulations. That's something we have to do. This year, you'll see $600,000 devoted to that. And again, the previous council has dictated this, and the new council has followed through with this to put 5% of our non-recurring revenue to fund our unfunded liabilities, which is a very wise move. Oops. We're also going to have an investment in efficiency improvements. As the mayor pointed out, we couldn't be more excited on what's happening with street sweeping. As he pointed out, we're going to reduce our street sweeping time periods for the first rerouting in over 30 years. So now those of you that are in our parking impacted neighborhoods and you got to get out there and move your car at 4 a.m., hopefully you'll never have to do that again when we get this done, and it'll be a little later in the time period. So that's something we're in the middle of. We're definitely going to fund this, and that's going to have a huge, huge effect on the quality of life of all of our residents, especially residents in our parking impacted neighborhoods. We'll have a major project to reduce paper documents. There'll be a city conversion of street lights to LED. So all of our high pressure sodium lights are going to be transitioned out to LED lights. And that's probably going to take about 6 months, and that's an initiative that's funded in this year's budget. And we have to, as everyone is aware of this, convert our convert our medians to drought-tolerant landscaping. Oops. We're also going to have an investment in marketing and promotions, increased support for the Long Beach Museum of Art, as the mayor pointed out, with $150,000. We're going to increase support for our CVB and tourism and trade. We're also going to support some funds for our convention center improvements. As the mayor pointed out, we're going to put $400,000 aside for city gateway signs at key entrances, and also fund a study and beginning of an implementation of how we can make all of our entries and exits to the city of Long Beach look great. We continue to be committed to improvement and innovation. The staff continues to pursue special projects for improvements, innovation, and efficiencies. We have new computer software systems constantly designed and implemented. There's ongoing efforts for open data, as I talked about. The new Civic Center design and funding takes a lot of time and effort on both sides of the table with Plenary Edgemore and city staff. We continue to respond to numerous external and internal audits and implementing the important recommendations that we get. And we manage our one-time operational and capital projects. I do want to point out that the Great Recession has reduced staff over the years. Many projects are accomplished only through the uncompensated extra hours and always with a juggling of staff's continuing workload. The mayor and city council have provided strong financial management and guidance in Long Beach. We have followed our financial policies structurally balance the budget, and increase our financial reserves. Our employee groups have agreed to pension reform, saving the general fund almost $14 million a year. That's $25 million with all funds. We have maintained a very good bond credit rating and invested in new technology and infrastructure. We have enhanced economic development efforts through our new Economic and Property Development Department, and during our difficult times, we maintained our city services, including police, fire, library, parks, and streets. But we have difficult times ahead. Growth in expenses are likely to outpace revenue growth for the foreseeable future beyond the fiscal year 18 projection. Although fiscal year 16 is improved, we're still facing deficits in 17 and 18. Next year, we're looking at a deficit of $7.5 million. That's if we take the $600,000 surplus and move that forward to 17. And then the 18 deficit is projected at 7.8. While we do have a one-year budget, we do take like a 3-year look-see ahead to see where we plan to go. Of course, nothing is firm when you're looking out at as far ahead as 3 years, but this is what our finance department is projecting. Revenue growth is difficult to predict and can fluctuate dramatically. The fiscal year 16 budget projects oil's dramatic revenue decline. As you can see, we've experienced a $20 million reduction in Upland's revenue, a $30 million reduction in Tideland's revenue. This year, we're going to project oil at $55 a barrel in fiscal year 16, and hopefully grow that $5 a year over the next several years. Here you can take a look at our oil prices. The chart shows the history of oil prices between 2007 and today, and has been updated from the version we saw in March. You can see the dramatic drop that occurred in fiscal year 09 when prices reached $25 per barrel, and the more recent drop that occurred this year. Again, let's look at our employee groups. We have 9 employee groups. The results of current and future negotiations is unknown, but I do want to let you know that this year's budget does not include or does not project any new raises, but it does not project any takeaways as well. And here you can see our 9 groups and when their contracts expire. Pension costs and uncertainties and challenges. Fortunately, as mentioned earlier, CalPERS investments last year were better than projected, so the green line represents the new projected increase in pension costs. It peaks at $25.7 million instead of $35.6 million. That's almost a $10 million improvement than previously projected, but it still represents increased costs that will impact the city's fiscal outlook for years to come. However, it will ultimately save money in the long term. The actual amounts owed to CalPERS can and will vary depending on a variety of factors, primarily investment returns. Due to the use of our innovative CalPERS Stabilization Fund, the next 3 years are locked in for the city's general fund as shown by the circle amounts. And again, to point out, excellent investment earnings in 14 have lowered our projected costs, and poor earnings in 15 have increased our projected costs. So it's a year-to-year thing. The fiscal year 16 budget highlights a strong city services for diverse and vibrant community. Again, you're going to see a strong public safety continuum of services. We're providing academies for new police officers and firefighters, and as the mayor pointed out, we're going to overstaff them a bit to guarantee that we accommodate for attrition throughout the academies. There's going to be a continued investment in city infrastructure, a continued development of efficiencies and cost reductions, continued maximizing of revenues. We're going to use our innovative CalPERS Stabilization Fund and carry over temporary surpluses to add to future deficit, that will add to future deficits or protect us from them. And there will be continued fiscal discipline and maintenance of Long Beach's financial health, prepared for more difficult times ahead. So here's our timeline to get where we're at today. On March 3rd, we had our first fiscal outlook presentation to the council on the proposed budget. March 11th, we delivered instructions to the departments. June 16th, the Economic Development Department gave a study session to the City Council. July 2nd, we delivered our proposed budget to the mayor. And here we are today where the mayor submits the proposed budget to the City Council and the community. Upcoming, and if you're interested in participating in the budget, you'll see community budget meetings all through August. These will be held at all the 9 council districts, and we're working on those right now. Some of them are already scheduled. In fact, most of them are. You'll see our Budget Oversight Committee. That's 3 members of the City Council. They'll meet all through August and make recommendations to the City Council on this $412 million budget. We have budget hearings scheduled all through August. And probably the first time the council will have the opportunity to adopt the budget will be Tuesday, September 8th. Their last opportunity would be September 15th on a Tuesday. Again, citizen engagement, budget hearings, BOC meetings, budget meetings, use the Long Beach Challenge. It's an online budget model that we have. Participate in the City of Long Beach budget survey on funding priorities. Use Open Long Beach to propose for the proposed budget. And I'm going to point to John Gross here, our finance director right now. If anybody wants the big 2-inch booklet, we have that. We also have a community budget booklet, a little smaller, about 24 pages. We also have a couple online surveys that you can take, a budget challenge and then a survey of services. We're also producing a 4-page summary of the budget that'll be produced in multiple languages for our community meetings, and also a 2-page quick study of the budget that'll produce in the next few days too. So a lot of stuff's going on there for community participation and an opportunity for everybody, no matter what language you speak, to understand what's going on in the budget. So with that, I'm going to conclude and hand it back over to Mayor Garcia. And it's really an exciting budget and an exciting year, and again, our 3rd year with a surplus. So thank you.